following is an excerpt of a recent Mort Radio broadcast. The one thing I didn't know about James Woods, the actor, is that I guess he's an avid Twitter user. He seems to tweet all through the day and night, which is fine, but he has something like, I think, 15 or 16,000 tweets to his account. Now, I don't know if that's a lot, but to me, it's a lot. I don't even have 1,000 on the More Radio Twitter account, and I don't think anyone here, right? No one here is, that much of a Twitter user. They occasionally use it, but nothing to that degree. And he isn't just tweeting about, what he had for lunch. He's sending out this information. He's very conservative in his views, and he sends out a lot of information, and he tweets to his fans, and he responds to them. He's just very active on Twitter. But I'm not here to discuss his Twitter use as a whole, but about a tweet he sent out just recently. He, I guess, in addition to being an avid Twitter user, he must peruse the internet a lot and read articles or read people's blogs, and obviously reads a lot of the news. Anyway, he must have come upon this blog from a woman by the name of Lori Duron. And I'm hoping I'm saying her name right, D-U-R-O-N, Lori Duron, who is raising what she terms a rainbow kid or a rainbow son, which is a little boy who's, as again they term, a gender creative son. Now, gender creative, I guess, means that he doesn't associate himself with any one gender. He's a boy in some ways, but he's a girl in some ways. And he's really yet to decide what gender he is, if he ever will decide. I guess that's in essence what it means when they say he's a gender creative boy. Take that for what you will. If it sounds a little ignorant on my part, well, I don't know how else to describe it. But anyway, this family who's raising the son, a man, woman, and the boy, took a picture at the Orange County Pride Festival, which is a gay pride festival. And James Woods must have seen this picture. And in the picture, it shows them all holding signs. I'll get into that in a moment. But they're holding signs, and the kid is all dressed up, wearing makeup, and holding a rainbow flag. What a kid does. Anyway, James Woods tweets this picture out with the following statement. He said in his tweet, "This is sweet. Wait until this poor kid grows up, realizes what you've done, and stuffs both of you dismembered into a freezer in the garage." That's right. Dismembered in freezer in the garage. Like Jeffrey Dahmer. Obviously, not everyone liked that tweet. It's a little raw. It's a little hardcore, but kind of what you expect from James Woods. I don't know why, but you would kind of expect him to be that way. Another actor, Neil Patrick Harris, everyone knows him, How I Met Your Mother and, other television shows and what have you. Doogie Howser. Everyone remembers Doogie Howser. Anyway, Neil Patrick Harris happens to be a friend of this particular family that James Wood tweeted about. And so Neil Patrick Harris responded to the tweet with his own tweet saying, "Utterly ignorant and classless, Mr. Woods. I am a friend with this family. You know not of what you speak and should be ashamed of yourself." And it kind of just went from there. Both tweets got a lot of likes, got a lot of responses, a lot of retweets, which is the whole Twitter experience, right? And when James Woods got a lot of heat for this, a lot of hate going towards him on Twitter, he didn't back down. He stood his ground, stood by what he said. and wanted to make it very clear that this was nothing to do with people choosing a sexual orientation or a gender or a homophobia or anything like this, that this had something to do with the fact that parents using their son as some kind of social statement, political view, using him as a poster boy. And at the end of all of it, his final tweet on this whole matter was pretty much that he didn't give a shit what people thought about him, and stood by what he said. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with James Woods, and I don't think anything's wrong with Neil Patrick Harris. The only reason that there's any attention to those two is because they're both actors. If they were just average Joes, people probably wouldn't have even paid attention to what they had to say. But because they're well-known, they're famous, their little titter back and forth, Twitter fight back and forth, gained some news coverage. And again, like I said, I don't think there's anything wrong with James Woods for what he said. And I don't think there's anything wrong with Neil Patrick Harris for what he said, because if someone went after my friend or said something that I found upsetting about my friend, I would say something to that person. So, I'm not saying either one of them are wrong. I guess the reason I'm even talking about this is because I kind of happen to agree with James Woods when he said about the parents using the child in a way as some kind of poster boy for their social justice stance. That the parents are using their boy, who goes by the name of CJ, using their boy to make a point. Now, Lori Duron, the mother, has her own blog and has written a book called Raising My Rainbow, which is available at Amazon. So if you want to pick up a copy, be my guest. She has written a book. She runs her own blog, and obviously the book and the blog are mainly about raising CJ, her gender creative son. Now, when you read her blog, it's pretty much what you would expect a middle-aged woman from Orange County to write. Middle-aged woman, a slice of Wonder White bread in the heart of Orange County. It's pretty syrupy in regards to what she writes. And she actually has a little bio about all the cast of characters, as she calls it, which make up her family. Now, I'm not going to go into all of them, but I will give you a little sampling. The first cast character is CJ, which is, again, the creative gender son, or gender creative son. And CJ is the most captivating child you will ever meet, with an insane knack for art and color, interior design, and gymnastics. His passions include Barbie, Monster High, Lego, American Girl dolls, and women's hair and shoes. When he grows up, he wants to be an artist or a teacher. Former aspirations included hairstylist and mommy. Now, I'm not going to go into CJ. He's a kid, and I kind of believe in letting kids be kids, irregardless of how insane it may be at times with them. Anyway, then she writes of herself, Lori writes of herself as being a festy, sassy girl woman trying to have it all, and usually feeling like she's failing miserably, while all around her are none the wiser. She works part-time as a business consultant, full-time as a mother, and overtime as a walking panic attack. Oh my God, I'm losing my mind. I mean, like I said, when you read her blog, first thing you think about is, middle class, white bread, Orange County. Yep. Sounds just like it. CJ's dad, Matt, is a police officer and a recovering bully with an 18-year chip for his bully sobriety. He's an Irishman with a heart of gold hidden underneath that tough guy facade and ever-present scowl. Wow, surprising. A police officer who used to be a bully. Add that one together. And there's other members of the family that she discusses in the cast of characters, like CJ's older brother, his uncle, the grandparents. Although one does stand out, the one grandparent by the name of Pa. Everyone else she writes these loving tributes about, but Pa, she simply writes, the maternal grandfather who is a devout born-again Christian and a macho Mexican-American. Enough said. So something tells me, at least I take that as, something tells me that Pa doesn't really support the way CJ's being brought up, but I could be wrong. Doesn't really matter. The whole point of this is that James Wood said something very harsh, very critical of the family, and not of what possibly could be the boy's gender choice or his sexual preference or anything like that. He was being harsh and critical of the family for the way they were using their son to make a point or a social justice point, that they were using him as a poster boy. And everyone got upset. And now Lori Duron doesn't just write this blog, doesn't just have a book that she sells on Amazon, but she also appears on television in talk shows, radio shows, has been interviewed by news programs and what have you. So she's out there. She's out there pushing her social view, her agenda, her beliefs. And there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, because she's making her social views and beliefs in the way she's bringing her son up in life, because she's putting it out there, she's opening herself to criticism. It's only natural. She gets a lot of support. So her line about always a walking panic attack, like she's failing miserably, I think is just bullshit, because frankly, she gets a lot of support, a lot of love from people for whatever reason, saying, this is the way you should be. How I wish my parents were like you, Lori. But there are going to be some people who are going to be critical of what she and her, I'll just assume her husband or her partner, Matt, the father of CJ, how they bring up their children. There are going to be people who are critical. Now, it's no one's business how they bring up their children, but when they make it public, when they push their beliefs onto others, again, they're opening themselves up for criticism. And that's all James Woods did, is be critical of them. Be critical of what they're doing. Not what the boy is doing, but what the parents are doing. And even though it was harsh, even though it was, graphic at times, of what he said, he nonetheless was just being critical of them. And they put themselves into that. Now, everyone got upset because he said, your boy's going to grow up and dismember you and put you in a refrigerator. Yeah, that's, again, a little harsh, but when you read Lori Duron's blog about her son's day at the Orange County Pride Festival, there's a paragraph that stood out to me that says, and I quote, "The festival was everything CJ hoped it would be and then some. There were free things, candy, games, and contests. He also noticed that there were a lot of condoms. CJ was also a big hit at the festival." Now, see, no one has a problem with that there were a lot of condoms at the festival. I mean, I know what people are going to say. They're going to say, well, it's because they want people to practice safe sex. And I understand that, but it's almost like saying, hey, let's go to the Orange County Pride Festival because I want to get laid. I want to tear off a piece. I want to knock boots with someone. I know they're trying to convey this message of practice safe sex, but it's also passing on this message of, having open sexuality. Just go about, and as long as you got a rubber on your shaft, fuck whoever you want. Go out and enjoy it. Well, yeah, you have as adults, you have a right to do whatever you want with whoever you want as long as it's consensual. But again, we also have kids here, and I just kind of have a problem with that that the message isn't just to practice safe sex, but also about having open sexuality, that whatever gender creative mood you're in at that time, whenever you're going to be creative with someone else, throw that glove on and go at it. Who cares how old you are? Just enjoy yourselves, because love is love. That's what matters. I don't know. I just find I have a problem with it. I guess just like anyone, like people who have a problem with James Woods and what he said regarding the parents of this of CJ. Oh, and there's one other thing in the picture. It shows that James Woods tweeted. It shows Matt holding a sign, and the sign says, "My son wears dresses and makeup. Get over it." And I guess what I have to say to Matt, this is just me speaking to Matt, not that he ever is going to hear this, obviously, but my personal message to Matt is, I don't have to get over it, because I don't give a shit what your son does. Now, I'm not talking to the kid. I'm not talking to Lori Duron. I'm talking to Matt. I don't have to get over what your son does, because I don't give a shit what your son does. As long as he's not bothering me, and he's not, I don't care. Stop making it an issue, because you, buddy, are making it an issue. My son wears dresses and makeup? Great. Raise your kid however you want. If you want to put him in a skirt, if you want to put lipstick on him, if you want to hang him from the fucking wall, I don't care. Don't get confrontational with me with your stupid sign that you have carrying around like I need to get over it. No, you got to get over. You know what you have to do? You have to get over your importance. If your kid wants to dress up like a girl, so be it. That's fine. Kids do a lot of crazy stuff, like I said at the very start. Don't go around telling people to get over it. And if your partner, Lori, or wife, or whatever you label her as, if she has that same message that people need to get over it, there's nothing to get over, because people really don't care. Do what you want. Do what you want. Enjoy your life. But don't force your life on mine. Just like I shouldn't force my life on you and your family. There's nothing to get over. Again, I don't care what you guys do. We're just living in some wild and wicked times. That's for sure. And everyone's going to do what they want. And I'm all right with that. Just as long as they're not hurting each other. I know that sounds a little hippie-ish, but it's true. As long as you're not hurting anyone, do what you want and enjoy your life. There's one thing I'd have to say to Neil Patrick Harris. I don't think he was wrong for sticking up for his friends. But I would have to remind him that if you're going to put on a show, you're sometimes going to have critics.